Hello YouTube, in this video I'm going to tell you about Hypnagogic MULTISPIRITUALITY, and this was an astral projection or a lucid dream experience that I had yesterday, and this experience was really out of this world and really out of norm and really out of reality. And this experience started like this. I was lying on my mattress while falling asleep basically, and I went into this hypnagogic state that is between being awake and between being asleep. And I was looking at one of my paintings, and I have had these weird experiences before while I'm falling asleep and looking at my paintings. And out of one of my paintings came this like firefly. It was the color of like purple and magenta, basically red purple, and it came out of one of my paintings and flew around the painting for a while. I was looking at it and marveling at it, and then I started to feel like I was losing consciousness basically, of falling asleep. But I tried to stay awake and I tried to stay lucid, and I saw this like these mirages behind my eyes basically. This happens when you are falling asleep but you are trying to stay conscious, and you see these like basically like visualizations, and they are like kind of like looking at the clouds, but then you are like interpreting meaning into them. But this happens so unconsciously that you start seeing things in them. And I saw these things. This is normal basically in falling asleep. And then I felt this like sleep paralysis basically after that. I felt that I cannot move. I'm in this dark room basically. When I do these experiments, I block the door of this room so nothing gets in basically, and I heard weird voices basically like auditory hallucinations or something, and I was like stuck in my body, like I couldn't get my body awake. I tried to like scream for help, but nothing came out of my no voice came out of my body basically, and I felt like this weird feeling, like I was being pulled, like somebody grabbed me from behind, like under my arms and tried to pull me out of my body basically. And I tried to fight it. It felt so uncomfortable basically. It felt so horrible, and it continued for a few seconds. Then there happened this shift of consciousness where I forgot basically that this is not like reality. This is not real, or maybe this is real, but this is some kind of other state of experiencing than normal waking consciousness basically. And the next thing I saw was this ocean, and we were at the shore of this ocean, and there was this raft, and we were coming from somewhere. I was part of basically a group of explorers, and I think that this group of explorers, these were like explorers of like consciousness of this, or this inner scape, or this inner reality, or this like inner world. And we were coming from somewhere, and we had something like with us. We were going somewhere. I can't remember where we were coming from, but one of these explorers, we decided that we are going to like leave on this shore. And we placed this one of these explorers basically, we placed him in this cage. And we buried this cage basically under, so his like head was on the surface, but his like whole body was under the sand basically, and his head was in this cage. It was like insane. It was insane, but these explorers, I thought that this is like basically this is how the business is handled over here. And I was part of this explorer group, and the explorers, one of these explorers we had this raft on the shore of this ocean, and one of the explorers said that we are going to leave this person here, and the rest of us are going to go to the next stage. Basically, this person cannot go on. We have to leave this person. Maybe we saved this person. Maybe we saved the life of this person. I don't know, but we left this person there, and we went on this raft. And the raft was not like made of wood. It was like more modern, and but it didn't have a motor in it. And this one of these explorers had so like strong upper body. Maybe he had done so many astral projection like exercises that he could like row this raft with this paddle, or what do you call those things? And he started rowing it, and we started going to the ocean, and then there was this one person, one explorer that we left behind, and he was she was screaming over there, but we didn't mind, and we just went. And when we went to the ocean on this raft, from front of us there flew this craft, and this was like really an alien craft. It had one seat, and it was like covered like a car, but it didn't have like wheels. It was kind of like a motorcycle that was covered, so no like elements could like touch the driver. And I saw this being that was driving this craft or whatever it was, and it was hovering above the ocean and it was coming at us basically. And the craft had like this curved like cover glass on top, that a windshield, and I saw this driver behind there, and he had these like cheeks that were like puffed, like they were basically he had like cheeks that were like two balls basically. It was really weird. He had I have seen this being before in my dreams, and he can fly basically, but he has really weird face, and he was flying this like weird alien craft moped thing, and he was flying at us. And one of these explorers said that this being, this craft, it can like teleport. It can like teleport around the places. And then this being started like teleporting with this craft. He was like, first it was like far away, then it like teleported. And when it teleported, it didn't just vanish. It's hard to describe, but it didn't just vanish, like it didn't just go nowhere and then it appeared somewhere else. It didn't just vanish. There was something happened, but what happened was there's no words for this kind of like movement or this kind. It wasn't dematerialization or anything like that. It looked like it like started to vanish and then it appeared somewhere else. And there was like this few seconds or few milliseconds of this like like it vanishing to nowhere, and then it appeared instantly somewhere else. Basically, it looked like this. And he flew beside us, and he flew there where the explorer that we left on the shore was. Maybe he went to rescue her or something. But we continued on our raft, and when we arrived at this island, we arrived at this weird island that was kind of like tropical, basically. And when I looked from the shore of this tropical island, I saw this building and these hills and these maybe palm trees, and I saw this building that was made out of stone, this white yellow stone that had many like passageways or balconies or something that could be used for like some kind of head post or something pretty good, because it had a view to every side basically. And then one of these explorers opened a crate that was on this raft, and there were these weapons, and they started handing these weapons they started to like grab these weapons, and some of the explorers handed one of these weapons to me. And it was this weird weapon, like it was the magazine was like positioned at the end, so the barrel is really long, but it didn't make any sense, in a sense that the stock of this weapon was the same as an AK-47 SS, basically, that you can fold it. It had a foldable stock, but the barrel was it had a really long barrel. This kind of weapon doesn't exist, and in the place of this like weapons, the sight basically that you use to like aim was this microphone, and it was the same microphone that I have on my camera. It was pretty weird, and I asked that, do you have any spare magazines for this gun? And they didn't have any spare magazines. I had only this one magazine, but they had one spare weapon that was it looked pretty much like the same, but it was different color basically. So they handed me this weapon also. So I had these two rifles basically, and I think I left one of these rifles at the shore and took the first one to the mission, and we went for a while to the place. I felt at this point like a shift, like a point shift basically, that happens in dreams when you go from one place to another, and I felt that someone was looking at us from these hills, and I saw these aborigines basically, but one of the crew said that in midst of these aborigines are these people who want us dead basically. And then this attack started basically. These people that were hiding in these bushes and behind these palm trees started to shoot at us with something. It wasn't like normal bullets or anything, but I noticed that under this, we were at this stone building that was in middle of this island, And I noticed that under this building there's a lot of like water, and you could like dive under the building basically. So while they were shooting at us, I dived under the building, and I like held my breath there, and one of these like aborigines or something, it was a female, like followed there, and we had this fight there under the surface. And then I managed to basically defeat her, and then I rose to the surface while I was basically inside the building. You could like dive under the building and get into the building basically. And I surfaced inside this building, and there was this human being basically, but it felt kinda alien, and it was really close to me where I was surfacing, like inside the building. And between us there was this wooden like grate thing, and I like basically it felt like I was levitating or rising to the surface, like really like in slow motion basically. And I rose to the surface in really slow motion, and then when I had risen to the surface, he pointed this pistol basically at me, and I like he didn't have time to shoot, but I like grabbed the pistol from the like what's that part called of the weapon basically, but I like pried it from this guy's hand, and the guy had like black beard and this black hair and these sunglasses, and it felt alien. It didn't feel human, but it was in the form of a human. And I like when I was like falling down on the water where I had risen from, like this hole basically in the floor of this building, this stone building. When I was falling down, I pulled the trigger of the weapon in the dream. This wasn't reality. I pulled the trigger, and there was so much resistance in the trigger. It felt like kind of like if you have ever cycled on a bicycle and you put the bicycle on the highest resistance, and if you compare this resistance, if you take this resistance and put it on a trigger, it felt like this. It would have, like in the normal setting, broke your finger or something. and maybe we could like stop all the wars with these kinds of weapons that have so much resistance on their triggers that they break all the fingers of the soldiers. But there happened this. It happened in a really slow motion. I shot at this guy 4 times basically, and the wounds were like black. There was no blood. It was black. Like it looked the same as if you would like take black ink, like painting ink, and drop it on like water. Like it starts to like create this like Medusa like thing. And out of these bullet wounds that appeared on the guy, there came these like spirits. Like 4 different spirits were living in this human being. And one of them had like this, none of them had like bodies. They had like a head like an onion, and like this like cord, like this stupid little like balloons, like this stupid little thing, and they started like float to the roof or something, like they had helium or something in them, and I felt that these were like real spirits that were living in this dude, and they were all different, like in one being, and when I like hit the surface of the water again, this all happened in slow motion between those few seconds in this experience. I saw that the real form of this being was that he was a reptilian, basically. When I shot him like 4 times, and these spirits that made him human. Spirits made him human, but when we removed those spirits from these holes, he became reptilian, basically. And then I saw these like end credits that were rolling, like these end credits that were rolling on my like inner vision, basically. The end credits looked like something like someone had like some problem youth had like cut himself, and there it was kind of like looking at the like someone had written something on their skin, like with cutting, like someone had self-harmed, and it looked the same, basically. But there was no background, there was no like skin, it just looked like there was like the text, but there was no like the stuff that this blood was coming out of. There was just the text. And I saw this reptilian form there, and it was pretty weird. And then I went into the water, and the next thing was really weird. I have never experienced this before. Basically, I was back in reality, but not in a sense that I was awake. I was still like sleeping or astral projecting or lucid dreaming, basically. There were parts of this experience that were really lucid. Like when I pried the pistol from this guy, it felt like I was really like in control here. and when like the next thing that happened was weird. I was back in my hometown, basically. Back in my hometown. And I went to one of my friends. I have not seen this friend in ages, like I mean years. I mean almost 10 years. And I went to this guy, we met, and I told him about this experience. I described it to him, like it went like this. I rose to the surface, and there was this guy, and I pulled the trigger 4 times, and this happened, and he started like predict what I was saying. Like he said everything I saw, like he had already seen it. Like it had already happened to him, like he had already seen this thing. Like he was like reading my mind, basically. And I have never experienced this before in dreams, that in my dream I tell someone in the dream about a dream that I had. But after this experience, the dream just continued on, and I started like meet other people, and I started like tell them all this stories about what I did in my dreams. Like here, there's this electrical like cord that goes between these like electricity poles. You know, these that go on and on in a perspective beside the road, basically. I thought to one person in my like this experience, this dream, that in one of my dreams I jumped, like I had these huge jumping powers. I jumped on one of these on that cord, and I was like hanging on it like this. I was telling it to this person like I was awake. Like I really felt that I was awake. Everything was normal. I have never met the person before. like this was one of the weirdest experiences that I have had in my dreams, basically. But it had some elements that you can tell that this was like some kind of brain activity, in a sense, because some people, and here we come to the title of this video, Hypnagogic Multispirituality. I named this Hypnagogic Multispirituality because this experience started with hypnagogic state, and this ended in a vision that like I started to analyze with my conscious mind when I awoke. That told me basically that maybe there are spirits that make us human, and we are like composite beings. There are many spirits living inside of us, and then there is this basically this lower nature, this like reptilian nature. And this reptilian nature is like whole in its like it's whole in a sense that it's not like fragmented. But these spirits that make us better, basically, that take us to like higher states, make us like feel that we are like fragmented and not whole in our life. And the human beings, like the inner, like this goes to the abstract levels of thought, basically to philosophy. Like this mission that we have as human beings is that we have to reconcile this difference between these like things, and this vision was a way that my mind tried to tell me what is happening under the surface of my conscious like understanding of my conscious being, basically. And that's the whole story. And I experienced this thing while I had my earplugs or my earpods on, and I was listening to this artist called Truth Seeker, and he has all these songs that have these themes of like these esoteric themes and these spiritual themes of astral projection and dreams and aliens and biblical themes and really a full like world of like things that differ from the mundane world in a huge way. And this song was called Astral Realm, and I had got this song at certain places, like when you cut a movie. I had cut some of the parts out. I do this sometimes with songs. I cut out some of the parts, and I have noticed that when I do this, these dreams become even like weirder. like maybe this structure, maybe I felt that this wasn't really an illusion, in a sense that the lyrics of this song, maybe they influenced this in some way, but this wasn't an illusion in a sense that it wasn't like it didn't happen through success. How do we pronounce it? Succession. Whatever. It didn't happen through somebody like putting this thing inside my head. And I thought about this experience afterward. I started like really try to understand that what are dreams really, and what are these like lucid dreams, for example, and what are astral projection experiences. And I have understood that when you have points, like points that are not related in any way, there is a state of mind that cannot connect these points. And this is the waking consciousness basically. But then there is this state, maybe a visualization or a subconscious like state, where these points start to like connect. You start to see patterns basically. And you start to like see associations that are normally so far away from each other that you wouldn't like connect them, and you start to like forget that these are not really anything. And I really what I'm speculating here is that even this waking experience that we are having happens like this. These look like basically first like stars, and then you connect them, and they start to become more and more and more and more real. And when in this dream, when I hit the surface of the water and I saw this like Medusa like ink thing on the guy that turned into a reptile basically, it was kind of like I was seeing through the dream. It was kind of like I was starting to awaken, and I saw the like I saw like I was coming back to the surface basically. And it felt like this dream was like kind of like falling apart, maybe. Or I was becoming conscious that my eyes are closed and I can't really see anything. So I cannot really explain this, but what I have gained from my like dream studies is that if you can stay like lucid through this like falling asleep phase, then you can see really out of the norm dreams. And I have kept this dream journal for few years basically, but the last 6 months, when I have not been able to like move or exercise basically, or live my life properly anymore, because I was so hooked on like cycling and lifting weights and writing and these things. I have problems in my hands and in my legs, and that's the reason I have like dwelt into these dreams like 100%, and I have made this basically into my life at this point, like these inner experiences. And I have kept this dream journal, and I have practiced it. I'm going to explain this to you because if you want these kinds of experiences, this is basically the method to get this. And on top of listening to this or these artists that have made this music that makes these kinds of experiencing easier while asleep. I have kept this dream journal, and in this dream journal I have like written on the right page, this is in Finnish, but I have written on the right page like a general synopsis of the chronological events in the dream. And then on the left page I have like drawn a line, like for example here in the chronological order I'm talking about the teleporting ship or the teleporting alien craft basically that was hovering over the sea, and on the right side, and on the left side I'm describing it like more accurately, like it was like a pale gray color basically. I didn't say that while I was describing, but you know, I have kept this dream journal, and I have tried to like develop my dreaming abilities to this way, but I have also practiced this creative visualization technique basically, and I have listened to this song by the same artist, this Truth Seeker, and this song is called As Above So Below, and I have practiced this visualization technique, and this visualization technique is basically a technique that the purpose is to develop your dreaming recall ability, and maybe your dreaming like movement ability also, like what you see basically. But the main point is to develop your dream recall ability, and I do this in 1 hour increments basically. I lie down on my mattress and I do it in 1 hour increments, and I visualize different things. I have made like different practices, like I made a visualization practice that in the practice I had this like a hallway, and in this hallway I placed these like apartments basically, and I like furnished these apartments in different ways, and I thought that what would it be to live in this kind of apartment. One of the apartments was like a minimalist apartment. It had like black and white paintings and all white walls and that kinds of things, like really minimalist. And then there was this other apartment that was more like psychedelic, more like colorful, like this, and I had all these like apartments, and and I did this visualization technique, and I have been doing this for like, at this point in few months that I have been doing this for like 60 hours basically, and the results that I have gained in my dreaming are like huge, like when you, because a human being has two kinds of memories basically, the like long-term memory, basically the like hard drive or the SSD of your brain, and then there's this like random access memory or working memory in your mind or brain also. And your working memory can hold it can hold many things, like if you develop it, but normally it can hold like 4 things or 8 things or something like that. And I have liked with my verbal ability, like my verbal thinking, I have named these visualizations that I see in my mind's eye basically, and I have named these in my mind, like I'm seeing a spaceship, or I'm seeing like a robot that is walking in this corridor of this space station, or kind of like this. I have like, and then when the hour is done, I have written it on my laptop, and I have divided it to like hours, like hour 1, hour 2, and then I have filled these hours with the stuff that I have gained from these visualizations, and this way I have developed my visual memory basically through imagination, but also through like I have built this structure basically. This is the habit of me when I was like practicing all these other stuff like writing and physical health and these things. I always had all these like structures, and I was always really like obsessive about time management, about how to like take the most out of your like time and how to structure your time so you get the most out of it basically. And that's that. And the last part of this video, this is also a guide to dreaming basically. First I told you one of my experiences. I have had like hundreds of dreams this year, but like the first was like my experience, but then there was this technique how to achieve these experiences. This music artist, this Truth Seeker, this artist called Truth Seeker, is like, this is really extraordinary stuff. I have never experienced this with any other artist basically. Well, I have experienced dreams while listening to music, but this music is really, this transcends really the borders of music. This is completely something else. We are dealing with something that is not really a movie or a story or music really even, or visual arts or anything. This goes to the another dimension. This goes beyond the like regular borders of your senses. Maybe this is kind of like a synesthetic experience, like synesthesia. But I have experienced these things, and I have also like practiced a lot of like fasting this year, a lot of fasting, and I'm vegan. And when I had this experience, the meal I had before this composed of like full grain rice. This was the first meal I ate, and then after that I ate this porridge that was made out of millet, basically this grain. And I have noticed that eating only vegetables and maybe nuts and seeds and supper foods like raw cacao and spirulina and chlorella and maca, basically these superfoods are really good for like dream experiences. But I have noticed that eating like only vegetables is really good for like visualization and dreaming, but this time eating like grains really like worked. I didn't really eat a lot of protein that day. Protein has maybe a dampening effect on your on your like dreaming ability, maybe. But I have because I have not been able to exercise, I have been practicing this caloric restriction. Basically on some days I have been eating only like 700 calories maybe, and the meal I had that day that I was talking about when I had this experience was that rice thing, and then this porridge that I mixed with pumpkin seeds and walnuts. Walnuts are really good if you want to like up your dreaming abilities and your inner game. Basically, try to really aim at the omega-3s and omega-6s basically. And in this porridge I put this millet and walnuts and pumpkin seeds and hemp seed oil. Hemp seed oil is really good, not like anything that contains like THC or anything. I don't use any drugs to achieve these things. Drugs to achieve altered states or consciousness are like too unpredictable, and they are addictive also, but they are so unpredictable because you develop tolerances and they are not, and who can say about these experiences what these really are. But all my experiences have been gained through like natural means, and basically that was my meal I think that day. Then there was and also I put these chia seeds. Chia seeds are really good because they contain a lot of omega-3s. This is the stuff that your brain needs. And then I put some raw cacao in it, and that's basically it. And then I drank some superfoods with the meal and some supplements. If you are a vegan, maybe vitamin B12 and D3 are good for like your like neurological activity or like memory. But these are all the variables basically here. There are so many variables here, like what you eat, how you use these journaling things, and by the way, if you want to really get the most out of your like dreaming, get a really expensive journal. Like one of these notebooks costs like 30 euros or something, and use a really expensive pen. Like this costs like almost like 100 euros. This one pen, this is Parker 51, this model. Get a really expensive fountain pen and really expensive like notebook. This really motivates your dreaming like practice. And then there are these books. This is the last part basically, like my experience, my practices, my diet, my books. This day I reviewed in Finnish this book, Mastering Astral Projection, and this guy is really good, Robert Bruce. He has this other book called Astral Dynamics. It's really good. And then there is this other guy, this guy called William Bullman, and he has this book called Adventures Beyond the Body, that deals with astral projection also. And then the stuff of Carlos Castaneda is really good. He has this book called Art of Dreaming. I read that book like like years ago, and it was so influential. Carlos Castaneda is so influential human being in my life. He has been, and basically that's that. Then the visualization exercise I invented through this music artist, this Truchika, and also one huge influence was this writer called Randy Alcorn, this Christian writer called Randy Alcorn. He has written this book called Heaven, and it really opened my imagination, this book called Heaven by Randy Alcorn. So here were some like informations in English. English is not my like mother tongue or my native language. I'm from Finland, but I have practiced through these videos, and I have written some in English, and I have a dream that someday I can make these my dream experiences into a book, and not really these experiences, but I can make a book about this whole project, about this whole like endeavor, because like my art and my everything that I have done in my past starts to at this point like coalescence into this one point, into this other realm. Maybe I'm slowly but surely I'm leaving this physical existence behind and moving into this other plane. And this has been really like I could have never like anticipated that my life leads me to this point. Never. So that's why I wanted to make this video also in English, because I feel that maybe there is a larger audience for these kinds of things in people who speak English, basically. So if you want to like follow my English videos in the future, I don't have a separate channel for my English videos. I don't support this kinds of like idea that you divide yourself into like separate channels, because I'm a human being that can change in the future. But I have this playlist in the front page of my YouTube channel called I'm International, and in that playlist you can just like bookmark basically that playlist. You don't have to subscribe to my channel or anything, because I make so many videos in Finnish. So you can just bookmark this playlist and check it once in a while, and you will see my English videos there. I try to get better at this language. Slowly but surely. I'm reading books about English grammar and these kinds of things. But thanks for watching, and we will see what happens next time.